Hello viewers, and you're welcome to the POLITY, a program that dwells and focuses on everything political that is unfolding within the country and even beyond the shores of Nigeria. My name is Maucauley, Hunohashi. On our topic today, we are taking a look at the menace of collapsed buildings and efforts being made to mitigate them and, stop future occurrences, as well as the assassination attempt on the life of former President of the United States of America and the Republican nominee for the 2024 presidential election is coming up in the month of November this year, Donald Trump, who narrowly escaped being killed by a 20-year-old assassin or suspected assassin. My name is Maucauley Hunohashi. You're welcome. Before I introduce my special guest who will be joining me in the studio live, and then later up open our telephone line for viewers to call so that they can make the program conversational and interactive. Let me take you up to speed with stories making headlines. And we are starting with America, where Donald Trump, former U.S. president and Republican nominee for the November presidential election, has reacted to his assassination attempt that almost took his life on Sunday. In his Truth social media handle, the former president said, "At this moment, it is more important than ever before that we stand united and show our true character as Americans, remaining strong and determined and not allowing evil to win." Trump also confirmed that he would attend the Republican National Convention, which begins today, Monday, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Presidents and prime ministers across the world have expressed their support for former United States President Donald Trump and spoken out against political violence following an assassination attempt against the Republican candidate at a campaign rally in Pennsylvania. The shooting on Saturday pierced Trump's right ear and killed one bystander. Two other spectators were critically wounded. The U.S. Secret Service said it shot and killed the suspected assailant, identified as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. The world leaders from Nigeria to Albania, Argentina, Brazil, Canada to United Kingdom, Europe to Asia, the Pacific and the Arab world all condemned the assassination attempt, saying there's no place for violence in a democracy. Now back home, where we have the story that Kaduna State House of Assembly has made another damaging allegation, saying findings has revealed that the state government resources were outrightly looted through systematic and coordinated phony contracts under the immediate past administration of Governor Nasiru El-Rufai. This was contained in a statement signed by the chairman, fact-finding committee and deputy speaker, Kaduna State House of Assembly, Barrister Henry Magaji. The State House of Assembly was reacting to the recent press conference addressed by some senior political appointees of the immediate past administration of Malam Nasiru El-Rufai. According to the statement issued penultimate Wednesday, El-Rufai's appointees failed to address the main issue, which is the systematic and coordinated cornering of the resources of Kaduna State through phony contracts and outright looting. The statement claimed that some political appointees who addressed a press conference in Abuja have been making desperate attempts to denigrate the State House of Assembly and cover up the alleged fraud perpetrated by the El-Rufai administration. And now the Defense Headquarters has issued a security alert, urging Nigerians to be vigilant due to intelligence reports indicating that terrorist groups including Boko Haram and ISWAP are planning attacks on critical infrastructure. The DHQ spokesperson, Major General Edward Buba, stated at a media briefing that security of power grids, communication networks, and other essential infrastructure has been heightened. Now, away from security issues, Zamfara State has emerged as the top-performing northern state and second in the whole of Nigeria in the National Examination Council, NECO, entrance examination for gifted students. In a statement issued on Sunday, the spokesperson for the governor of Zamfara State, Suleiman Bala Idris, said the state secured the highest number of slots, emerging as the best state in the entire northern region. He added that throughout the country, Zamfara State came second with 30 talented students, while Anambra State secured the first position with 35 students. Those were the news reports that made headlines. We'll take a short break, and when we return, the conversation will open up with my guest being introduced and will be joining me in the studio, and then we'll open our telephone line in the course of the show. My name is Maucauley Hunohashi. Please stay with us. We'll be right back. You're welcome back. I'm being joined by, on my far right, Gabriel Enemali. Enemali is everything you can think of. But he calls himself a community. He's a community reporter.
Yeah.
Gabriel Enemali, you are welcome to the POLITY.
Thank you so much. Viewers, good afternoon.
Right beside me is Hilary Damissah. Hilary Damissah is simply a journalist. And he's a public affairs commentator.
Thank you for
gentlemen,
having me.
you are welcome to the POLITY. Now, let's talk about something that is worrying almost everybody in this country. That is the menace of building collapse. And I will start with you, because you are in the middle, Hilary Damissah. Okay. The spectacle of building collapse has been with us for a very long time in this country. And it's been an occurrence. In the last 4 decades or so, statistics do indicate that Nigeria has recorded over 600 collapsed buildings, with Lagos taking a fair share of this with over 300. The most recent one that has been a scene of very disturbing spectacle was that of a 2-story building in Jos at a school, that's the St. Academy. And students were in the middle of writing their third term examination when the building just suddenly went down. How did you receive the story, and what did you feel?
Thank you very much, Maucauley. Indeed, the stories of building collapse in Nigeria, it's one that is very saddening. It's heart-rending, and of course, it calls for serious national concerns. And the most painful or pathetic part of these particular incidents that happened in Jos is the fact that it happened within an educational facility. And painfully so, I think that it's an indictment on the managers of our infrastructure. If you hear of incidences of bridge collapse in the civilized world, they are very rare. And the swiftness and promptness with which the authorities, the government attends to these issues tells you how much value and importance that the managers of those nations put on the lives of their citizens. But in our state, or rather in our climate, it's a very pathetic situation. And I think that apart from the need for more careful regulatory apparatus, there is also the need, especially for institutional assessment, reassessment, and continuous evaluation of public infrastructure. There are some infrastructures that have existed in Nigeria, especially public ones, that have lasted a certain number of years. And I think that periodically there should be test assessment to find out the durability.
Hilary, before we get to that, let me ask Enemali. Gabriel, you are a community reporter.
Yeah, my brother.
How did you receive the news? You know, our hearts at KAFTAN TV goes with the families that lost loved ones and the people and government of Plateau State. You personally, how did you receive the news, and what were your thoughts? I was not surprised.
I was not. The reason why I wasn't surprised, I stay all my life in Lagos, and I see building collapse. In fact, in the area of Oshodi and Agege, houses are sinking. Yet we have Nigerian Society of Engineers who monitor and evaluate these buildings. You see, any country that lacks law and order, this is what you get. In Agege, in Ajebule, in Oshodi, houses have been collapsing. Nobody have been taken to court. Nobody have been sentenced to jail or whatever. So everybody, Nigeria is a country of anything goes. So I was not shocked. I was not surprised at all. I only felt, why should these innocent people go like that? Young people. It's really, really disheartening. We see bridges. Now people build that now.
Now people.
Where you are supposed to get the right number of cement or quantity of cement or sand and mix them together, they won't do it because they want to cut corners. And my own question is, why do we have Nigerian Society of Engineers?
Okay. I think you led that vista of conversation earlier.
Yeah.
Now let me ask you, Hilary, aside the forces of nature, which can also cause structural decay and even collapse, you know, some of the causes of building collapse range from faulty design, incompetence, faulty construction, foundation failures, extraordinary loads on the, you know, structural elements, and even corruption. But you know, you hardly hear those, you know, issues, you know, stories of building collapse, like the you know, at the level of the turnover that we have building collapse in Nigeria. Why is this one different?
Well, I think my colleague alluded to that. I want to a little bit say that the Nigerian Society of Engineers is a professional body. It's an independent body of professionals. It's not their bit to determine the regulatory, you know,
Regulatory
and
framework.
supervisory framework of buildings in Nigeria. We have an agency, NABRI, an agency that is charged of road and building or something. I can't remember the full meaning of NABRI now. But I think that of importance is the fact that Nigerians as a people, we seemingly have lost our sense of humanity. You mentioned natural disasters. Natural disasters are beyond human ability. Hurricane in this place or that place, tsunami in one end or the other, earthquake, or these are human masterminded hurricanes or human masterminded earthquake. The issue is this: who is supposed to have monitored the adequate process to ensure that this building met the required standard? And one painful aspect of it is that while we were in primary schools and secondary schools, of course public schools, we were in buildings where you had massive expanse of land to play football, and then you have massive expanse of land for your agricultural practical. But these days, within a kitchenette, you have a secondary school, you have a nursery, you have a primary, and you have a different kinds of appellations given to them, and you are wondering, is this a school where co-curricular activities will combine with academic exercises? And those who manage our educational sector, are less interested in whether the standards are met, provided they are able to beat or short circuit the process of registration, accreditation, and all of that, and then things change hand and nobody cares. It's saddening to the point that a family was said to have lost 4 children, after which the mother and the father both collapsed at different instances, and they passed on, reportedly so in the media. Can you compensate for this magnitude of human calamity? Is it avoidable? Yes.
It is avoidable. Well, viewers, you can call. Our producer is going to display the telephone number on the screen so that you can call and participate to make the program more conversational. It is your show. And let me tell you, let me ask you.
Yes.
He did say that you cannot compensate for death, but
absolutely,
in addition to those 4 that a family lost, 22 deaths were recorded.
Yes.
In addition to 154 fatalities. How does that make people feel, parents feel?
Whether we like it or not, I keep saying it. Any country that lacks law and order and people are not punished for whatever they do. The reason why I mentioned Nigerian Society of Engineers, the man who monitors or who supervises the building is a certified Nigerian Society engineer. So he should be held responsible, right? Or just like you have the doctors and lawyers, if you misbehave, they withdraw your license. Are they doing so? Again, has the law caught up with anybody who has done all of this? The answer is no. Is there proper environmental impact assessment?
First, yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Let's take this first caller. Hello, good afternoon. This is the Polity. Afternoon, your name please and where you're calling from and make your contribution.
I'm calling from your
Your name, sir? Sally, okay, go ahead with your comment. No, we lost the caller. Go ahead.
All right. So, is there any environmental impact assessment on that environment certified by Ministry of Environment before they even started the building? Okay. These are all checks and balances that need to take place before you even start building. But in all of this thing, you see, they don't happen. I give you an example. There is a hotel in my state. They call it Confluence Hotel, Confluence Beach Hotel. When the former governor, late now, Prince Abubakar Audu, wanted to build it, he just came in because he likes razzmatazz, and then he built it so much. But there was no environmental impact assessment carried. And when 2012 flood hit, the whole hotel went down. The whole hotel. I was there, we were chased out by reptiles. Now, when the people from the Ministry of Environment came there, they said the number one thing that they didn't do was environmental impact assessment. I said, where are these things? Do you understand? Now, the engineers that build it, again, you see, we in Nigeria, one very, very fundamental or one favor that God has done for us, all this natural disaster, we don't have it. Every disaster you see in Nigeria is man-made. Every disaster. Anyone you see is man-made. None, because of negligence. Because people don't do their work as it is supposed to be done. Because we do not have government who care for our people. Just if you just want to build a house, you see people, they will come out and tell you the town planner. They just come and put red this thing and say stop. If you go and pay, they say continue. So what have you done? Do you understand? So all of these people that are supposed to monitor and protect and prevent, why are they not working? Is it that, see, by the time you get down to the root of the whole matter, you find out that everybody is a culprit. So the parents losing 22 people, sir, is disheartening when we are not fighting war. Eh? And then you have over 100 people injured, critically injured. You know what it is for something to fall on you?
Exactly.
Critically injured. In this critical moment that everything is so hard, is the government of Plateau State going to compensate the families?
What can compensate for that?
I mean, okay, what can compensate? No, those that are gone are gone. What about those that are alive and sick in this hard time? Do you understand? So why is it that we cannot avert things until it happens? All of us will be jumping from one place. I'm very, very sure. Go and check. That house would have been warning. It would have been warning that something is about to happen. Either a crack or something is shaking somewhere. But we will never take cognizance to that until it's struck. Then we'll start disturbing God. So I feel pity. I feel pain for those departed souls.
You know, beyond the closure of the school, which was announced by the state government, I've not had anything that is punitive, particularly against the people that talked about the demographics, like, you know, society of engineers, the architect that built the place, even the school authority, or even the landlord, whatever you name it.
Well, the state government did say in a joint statement by the state government and the National Emergency Management Authority, the Director General, they came out to say that the site has been, apart from the school being closed down, the site has been condoned off so that they can do some impact assessment and integrity test on some of the samples of the iron and the sand, rubbles and materials they would obtain for some laboratory verification, but we can't preempt what the outcome of those findings may be. However, though we may talk of the law and order as very important, but I think that as Nigerians, we are human beings, and predominantly we are Muslims, we are Christians, we are tribal worshippers, and all of these religious beliefs and inclinations are built around the human conscience, and where humanity and the values of existence have been lost, it's difficult for us to be human in nature. So I think that we need to do some soul searching, some self-assessment, so that we can subject and submit to what the authority prescribed, and then we can keep laws and order. But first we must do some soul searching. We must ask ourselves, should you put a building that is meant to be designed with 40 bags of cement, should you design it with 4 bags? That takes some human consciousness. And then we can then look at regulatory frameworks to ensure that corporates are brought to book, no matter whose horse is God, and then people can be prosecuted and the law will take its course.
There was a reported building collapse yesterday at Oshogbo.
Even Kuba,
in Abuja, and in Lagos.
We have not had anything, concrete. So any solid pronouncement from government. That of Oshogbo, Governor Adeleke only warned against construction without approval. What do you think?
What that implies to me, you see, when things happen,
medicine after
governments are always quick to either come out with statements, but I bet you that those statements don't have substance that goes beyond that incident. If you ask a week after or a month after, you may not find anything. Like he referenced, the building may just be marked X, work stops, and then if you go the other way to settle, you come back the next week and the building is high up in the sky. So I think that beyond statements, let the people see with conviction that that big man, that small man who has fallen short of meeting the prescribed or recommended standard for certain thing, the law has taken its course.
Okay.
And then people will take.
If you remember 2001, there was a bomb blast in Lagos.
Yes.
In fact, the current president was governor then.
Okay.
Right?
That's
Ikeja bomb blast. I was at Ojota. I just left work. I was at Ojota when it started. The people that died did not die because of the bomb, but they died in the course of running into canals. The one at Maryland and the one at Ejigbo Canal. That's how they died. Now, these bombs has been kept unmaintained, and they kept warning something is going to happen. Something is going. They did nothing until it happened. This is a kind of government.
Nobody heeded to the warning.
Nothing. Go up till now, some buildings around that axis were not good because they were shaky. And up till now, government has done nothing. People are still occupying.
Government has done something. They erected some cenotaph on the Okeafa Canal in memory of those who lost their lives.
Thank you very much.
And that was where it ended.
What about the building around Ikeja cantonment?
They are not collapsed.
They are not collapsed. And so you don't think government should do a due diligence integrity test on these buildings? Absolutely. Up till now, go there, including the barrack itself. It's shaking.
Yes.
I climbed to second floor. I said, Kai, I hope, because the ones that are closer to the bomb site, they're all shaking.
It's a systemic issue of some sort, and I come down again to our Nigerianness as a people. You see, leadership is more of a sacrificial undertaking, much more than is beneficial. And I think when, as leaders, those who run the affairs of the nation decides to be selfless in duly serving, it's the same narrative of saying minimum wage and political appointees.
Thank you very much. Do you know that in the military, during the military era, people conduct themselves well than in the civilian era?
Yes.
In fact, in the military era, anything you are doing, the way they will monitor, even you will monitor yourself.
Yes.
But how come when they told us that the worst civilian government is better off the best military government?
That's how it suits the politicians. I beg your pardon. Not necessarily in terms of service. If you compare the growth rate of Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, within the last 20-something years of democracy and prior to democracy, in terms of physical infrastructure, you'd agree with me that what the military put in place, by far, the National Assembly complex you see today, the cost at which the military built it.
Hilary, let's take this caller.
Okay.
Hold your thoughts there.
All right.
Good afternoon. You're welcome to the Polity. Your name, please, and where you're calling from.
I'm Sally. I'm calling from Jos, Plateau State Capital.
Sally, you're a regular caller. Go ahead with your comment. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
First of all, let me dive on the issue of the building collapse.
Okay.
The issue of building collapse in Nigeria as a whole, it's all about the issue of the owner of the land thinking that he has idea of how he could build, and cutting costs by not bringing architects or engineers to help him man the site. And the issue of materials too. People tend to use more of sand than more of cement, or more of stones than more of chippings or concrete in terms of when you're doing decking. Like the private school that collapsed in Jos, you could see how little kids that just went to school died just because of negligence. A house that was a bungalow was turned into a story building. And when you turn it into one, it's not enough, you added another one on it. So at the end of the day, even when government sometimes want to implement those laws by stopping people feel government are against them. I don't feel like the government of Governor Caleb Mufan, he has been doing a lot of work in Jos. But you see, some people still complain that the governor don't want them to eat. Or how would they feed their family? Every business has a peculiar area and a peculiar place that when you do it, irrespective of the distance, you'll get patronage. So please, the GMDB, the GM there is doing a good work. I expect that people all over the country should try and adhere to ethics, because at the end of the day, once life is lost, the issue of managing materials is no more there. Secondly, the issue of military and democracy. You see, the military are the ones that have brought Nigeria where we are today. Even state creation, local government creation, world creation, and even the issue of federal and state constituency. It's only the military that can do that. Why am I saying so? The politicians are so selfish and self-centered that if you say you want to create a state, the most powerful man in another local government will want a state carved out because its people are the majority so that they can dominate. They can't do it because of the betterment of the people as a whole. So for me, I feel that this issue of the worst form of democracy is better than that of military. It's a lie, it's a farce, and we all know it. In fact, 90% of Nigeria know that it's the military that are getting us together in this country. So please, let democratically elected people do their best and make sure that they are sincere to the country and not to their pockets. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sally. He called for sincerity of purpose from politicians.
Absolutely.
In comparison to the military, and that's exactly what we are saying. So there seems to be some, kind of consensus.
Oh, absolutely. Sir, before now, the influx of people came into Abuja was between 2002, 2002, when the crisis in Kaduna started, right? Gradually, people felt Abuja is more safer. And by 2005, people from virtually every part of Nigeria started rushing into this place. If it were to be during military, that will not happen. That's number one. Number two, since then, have you seen the civilian government done anything? They will come to... I expected our legislature to take opportunity, to take their role seriously to checkmate the executive. But rather they choose to be dilly-dallying, drinking tea and making noise and taking us for granted. And that is why every sector has collapsed. Total collapse. Every sector is not functional. You did mention about a small room. They will convert it, partition it into 6 or 7. They'll tell you nursery 1, creche 1, kindergarten 1, and all of that, all in the name of looking for money, yet we have Ministry of Education.
Exactly.
Sir, I'm a community reporter. Primary school, public primary school, in fact, let me not go far. On your streets, please help me count, just scan through your head. Count how many public schools are on your street and how many private schools are on your street.
That's right, that's right. The ratio is
so
mind-blowing.
the policymaker deliberately kill the public school so that they can. That's why you see every president, every governor, every minister has a private university.
Run by their wives also.
Run by their wives or their brothers and so on and so forth. Now leaving the poor man, he can't afford anything called education anymore. And yet they said education is light. The light is dead. Education is power. The power is weak. I don't understand.
Now, let me see on you.
Okay.
Hilary did mention about the need for us to do some soul searching. And I know you concur with him 100%.
Sir.
From where will it begin?
Sir, my name is Enemali. I am a Nigerian. My grandfather is Yunusa, a Muslim. My father is Adamu, a Christian. Sir, our problem is still the law. People are people. Everybody is selfish to himself. The only thing that can guide us and streamline us on the right path is the law. Sir, I notice that Nigerians are good law. I mean, they abide to law. The moment you punish 1, 2, 3, everybody go pack well. This has nothing to do whether you're a Muslim or a Christian. Nobody wants to be disgraced. So because our laws are not... once upon a time, I think it was Dino Malawi when he was in the house. He said from today, we should stop carrying, taking oath with Quran and Bible. But everybody should come with his own deity. If na Shongo, if na Cutlass, if na Iron, if na Thunder, come and take. They started, no. Oh, now they fear death. Do you understand? So this has nothing to do whether you're a Christian or you're a Muslim. The thing is the law. See, the Shongo and Kuru is because of the way they punish you instantly. That's why everybody is scared.
No, he talked about Hilary. He talked about
soul searching. See, in as much as I'm going to cut corner and make money, and nobody will disturb me, sir. Let me continue. Nobody will want to in this critical time say that you can't do soul searching. How? He won't do it because he needs money.
You are being realistic.
That is the truth. And the reality of the call. Sir, you tell so all of us go and check the people that occupy positions today that are taking decision today are either Christians or Muslim. Yet things are bad.
When you talk about lack of penalty of absence of it, three things came to my mind.
Good.
And I want to ask Hilary, is it lack of political will or does it have to do with these two major monsters, sentiments and emotion as Nigerians?
Well, we can pick from the 3 elements you have mentioned: sentiments, emotions, and lack of political will. Now, the Naira, as our legal tender, does not speak Igbo, Hausa, or Yoruba.
It doesn't.
It's an object of law that enables us to buy and sell. Sir, the protection of the Naira, according to the CBN Act, requires that you don't mutilate it, you don't write on it, and you don't
tear it,
undo it,
carelessly.
You don't handle it.
But if you understand that if you give a child, a Nigerian, $1 in print, as it were,
I like that line of thoughts. Let's take this caller first.
Okay.
Hello, good afternoon. This is the Polity.
Good afternoon. My name is Azi. I'm calling from Jos.
Azi, go ahead with your comment. You're welcome.
Thank you very much. You see, your other panelist there, the one wearing a jersey, spoke about from 2000 and 2002. There was no urban migration. People were staying in their localities and in their states, doing well for themselves. When crisis came from Zango, Qatar, and US, people started moving. Imagine Northeast had a Boko Haram, but people would leave Maiduguri, travel past Gombe, travel past Bauchi, past Jos, past Kaduna, past Nasarawa, and go to Abuja. What am I saying here? If every structure was working, they wouldn't have gone that far to come to Abuja. They would have stayed maybe in Gombe or in Bauchi and continue their life. So that when security come back to their locality, they will just go back. What am I saying? This issue of local government should be hammered on, and journalists should beat the drum very well. It goes beyond financial autonomy for local government. It has to do that the local government themselves are supposed to take charge and act like governors themselves in their own domain. Because the governor and the president are all under a councillor, because they are all from a ward. Their identity is a ward first, not even the local government. So I believe that when everybody go back to his ward and develop the ward is the entity that makes Nigeria who Nigeria is today. So if we get the local government working, the state automatically is safe. And nobody will be calling on the federal government. Imagine something is happening in one local government, and when journalists go there to interview, they say the president should come to our aid. The president does not even know that local government. He has never been there. He don't know the chairman. He don't know anything about that place. All he knows is the governor of the state. So please, the local government and the wards, that is the councillor, the local government chairman and the councillor are supposed to be empowered. And for me, this issue of PLASEC, State Independent Electoral Commission, if there is any way it should be abolished, it should be abolished. Because we cannot have one if the governor is a APC member, then every chairman there is APC. You not get people working. So at the end of the day, people just only fight for getting candidacy of that party and they are okay. But if you abolish it, you have like 10 different parties owning chairmanship position across board, which is going to make people sit up and work. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. He has digressed a little bit, but that is his area of concern, and it's a topic for another day for us. You are on a line of thoughts.
Okay, yes. I was talking about sentiment, emotion, and the political will. Now, you would find that the regards that the average Nigerian would have for $1 would not be comparable to that you would have for 1,000 naira. Because the way we handle our currency itself tells so much about us. So if you are in authority, you allow some people to escape the law, then some other people will find a way to maneuver and manipulate it, because human nature is very, very self-centered and selfish. So like he said, there should be the enforcement of law from the top to the least, such that nobody is excluded from reprimand, punitive and sanction method to check and ensure that as society guides. If you beat the traffic, the bigger you are in the West, the more the sanction would. But here, if you beat the traffic, you are smart, and if you wait, it does seems like you don't know how to drive. So, but if you know that by the time you are going to renew your driver's license, you meet a hefty fine, whether you are a senator, whether you are a governor, then you would not. And in any way attempt to beat the traffic.
Let me add up. You see, few months ago, there are two celebrities who were spreading money. One just left the prison, and one is in court. Today, if any party, watch out, Nigeria does pay money anymore. Exactly. Because the law has taken its course. Somebody has gone to do 6 months. Another person is in court.
Without the option of fine.
So imagine, so nobody wants to go and do it. So we know how to see.
But let me interject you.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Are you sure that this country of ours would send a senator, a serving senator, to 6 months in prison without the option of fine for spraying naira?
Well, since then, I have been observant. 2 occasions, I went 2 wedding and 1 naming ceremony. The senator wrapped the money in the envelope. The senator, I'm saying, the one senator, 2 House of Rep, they wrapped it, walk, and I said, because I was carrying the camera and I was observing it, whether I come and spray. I just told him, just take, I don't know how much was this, I'm not even interested, but he just quietly gave it and nobody knew what happened. Because I was with my camera.
We were ready to
blow the whistle. So, sir, everybody is afraid of the law. That is the truth. But if one thing I like Nigerians,
it needs to be applied.
Yes, one thing I like Nigerians, and I've taken my time to watch them. Nigerians come to a place and you say this is the law. They go follow you, observe and well. Watch out if you break the first one, break the second one, break the third one. The day Nigeria wants to break the law, you break all.
You break all.
He will break all the laws. And then he will do so well, even you will be confused. What happened? I didn't do my own to this extent. We are just a different species. But again, the only way we can curtail all this abnormality in our society is when we uphold to our laws, our rules and regulations that guides us. I was driving. I don't know whether it's a minister. They just came with sirens. Whoa! Chased everybody. The light was red. All of us stopped, and this man passed. I was not with my phone to record, yet nothing happened. I see this almost every day.
Yeah.
Especially in this city of Abuja.
Yes, especially in Abuja.
So is it that the red light does not is meant for some lower people, and then the red light is also not is good for some people?
Or maybe they don't see the red
light. Or is it that when they are coming they don't see it? And again, fortunately, the unfortunate thing is that the people who did this light are the police.
Yes. And they are there.
The police they drive the motor now. They are the drivers of this vehicle, and they will pass and make you just go to UTC.
Sorry,
yes.
Again, my interjection. My principal, he referenced an issue. He was driving, and then he was following a uniform official in Lagos, and then the uniform official beat, I think, a certain traffic.
Okay.
So he pretended to be on the convoy, and then the police flagged him down, and then he said, "I am going with them." They said, "No, we didn't see them. You are the one."
They didn't see them.
That's what they told him.
So they chose not to see them.
Yeah, they decided to turn a blind eye. So if we keep law and order from top to the bottom, Nigeria will work. We will learn how to stay in queues.
Thank you very much.
That is why in other climes where Nigerians visit, we learn to keep to the
queue.
But let me ask you: do we need to be forced to obey the law?
That's why we're here.
Every state, every nation enforce the law. That is what it is called, enforcement of the law. Human beings may not be there physically. Yesterday, the finals of the Copa America was played.
Yes.
In the US, there was a chaotic scenario. The match was delayed for about 80 minutes thereabout because the ticketing were done very loosely. South Americans, and soccer hooliganism and all of that. But do you know what? Everything was if it were in Nigeria, there will be stampede, and by today you would hear that people, because in any society where you allow loose holes, people will naturally exploit them.
But can you force the change of core values or ethical values? Can you force
core values? We have a
you are the one that talked about soul searching.
Yes.
That's why it's in relation to that I'm asking this question.
I think so. First, as human beings, you know that you owe yourself a sense of responsibility, and then the society an extension. And so you don't want to jump from the balcony of the 5th floor, because you know that if you incur some human damages on yourself, it will have collateral effect on people who are dependent on you. So that guides you as an entity. And then we have our spirituality, whether you say we are Christians or we are Muslims or we are traditional worshippers, and these are supposed to also guide our values. Then you now talk of the nation as an entity. You talk about the educational institution, you talk about the religious institution. So in doing soul searching, it is more of personal orientation. And look, the reason I will not throw a sachet of pure water on the expressway is not because the police is watching me. It's because as an individual, something tells me it's not right. And so if I don't do it, the little boy at the back of the car imbibes the same culture, and then we carry this to the larger society. And I think that as individuals, we need to start from ourselves, those sets of orientation and obligations to yourself and then extend it to the society.
In fact, sir, let me add up. I bought my first car. I came home with it. I expected my father. He was at the balcony just watching. I expected him to be happy.
Yeah.
He was not. He was just looking at me. So I just came out. I wanted to shout, "Why is everybody looking dull like this? What is it?" You know, come here. How much is your salary that I bought a car?
Okay.
Exactly.
The first thing he
You
asked
needed
me,
to find out.
how much is your salary?
Yeah.
I said, no. And I brought all the documents. It's a sponsored program. Look at it, look at it. This is how I got it. He said, okay, enter, I will pray for you.
Okay.
Another one, I was in primary school. The guy I sit on the same chair with in Kaduna, and he left his pencil on the desk. And he left, so I took it and put it in my bag. Every day we come back from school, my father would search our bags. So this fateful day, the pencil was there. I didn't even know, I just came back. The next thing, he took a torch. Here's the mark. I was confused. They rushed me to NDA and fixed it. My mother now came and said, so when did you become a thief? I said,
Over a pencil.
Over a pencil. She didn't even tell me why. I was confused. I said, me, thief? I didn't steal anything now. She now said, who owns the pencil? I said, Mama, she be now, they tell us, say, if we see person, look, we keep him now. It is my seatmate that left his pencil, so that I will give him tomorrow. I didn't steal. My mother started crying. And they went back again. You know, a man and soldier, they always want to carry face, like say, that, see, to me, up to today, it teaches me a lesson. What is not good is not good. And that, again, I took to my children. And it has guided me. So, can we, when you talk about values, the church is no longer preaching values. All they are preaching money. No more values. Before, once upon a time in this country, if you buy 2 cars, they want to ask you, how did you get the money? In this country. But today you come and see 10, 20 cars.
Let me ask Hilary this question. He's you know, he built on what you talked about with regards to soul searching and ethical values that I asked. Now, there is a catchphrase in Nigeria that has become, you know, a military parlance or security parlance that has become like a platitude, and it is, when you see something, say something.
Yes.
Can that be applied when you talk about the collapse of buildings? Can that be applied, you know, when Nigerians see aging buildings or buildings that are falling short of integrity tests? Where would they report? If you ask them to see something and say something, where would they go?
Okay, the truth of the matter is that life has been made a little bit simple or simpler with the advent of the social media. Everyone is a journalist, or should I say
a reporter?
A reporter on
Citizen
the go, a
reporter.
citizen journalist, and all of that. So you could put it on the available social media space, and you never know how that particular content will drive, and it would continue to generate followership, conversations, and perhaps the relevant authorities would act. So that is the first step of responsibility. I think that everyone who sees something like he sees maybe a senator beating the red light or so, he manages to catch a glimpse of a clip of it and then puts it out.
He was late in grabbing his
camera. But sometimes, God help you if they catch you and you are unfortunate to be on the other side of it. But then it's nice that you put it out there on the social media. And then these days there are also feedback mechanisms from different government agencies like the NCC, the Nigerian Communications Commission. They have a dedicated customer line that you can send messages to, like the National Identity Management Commission, NIMC. They have a responsive WhatsApp platform that you can send messages and complaints to, and then many of them also have email contacts that you can reach out to put your complaint. The thing is, you take your own step first, and then if you don't get the feedback, you can say you have taken the first step.
Okay, Gabriel, do you know why I asked that question?
Yes.
Let me ask you, then you continue with your line of thoughts. If you go around Abuja and then you take a look at the first generation buildings in Abuja, if you know Abuja very well, the first generation buildings are 2-story, 3-story, 4-story buildings where civil servants are, and they've been sold to civil servants on the offer of first refusal. Some of them are very, very old, particularly if you go behind the buildings where you have pipings. The pipings are old, and those buildings it's just disaster waiting to happen. I have seen them. I'm not creating this story. Why are people still living in them? What would you say?
They are living in them again. Still boils down. We have Abuja Environmental Development Board or something. That is their duty to check all of these things.
Exactly.
They are not working. Number two, just like you said, we have not created that that impact of if you see something, say something very much. But before I come to that, people themselves should take ownership. You see, I remember one of these guys who wants to build his house, and then he wants to uproot a tree. They told him per tree then is 25,000 naira, and he was removing 2. So they asked him, it's either you pay 50,000, and then go and pay to, you know, plant another 3s in another location, and he paid. Now, until we decided this kind of a house should be marked. Environmental protection board should just wake up and start marking them one after the other. You say everybody wake up and fix it. If you see something, say something. I'm a community reporter. My first challenge was the day I did a report on primary school. My governor went after me. First, they make sure they hacked me. Secondly, he went after me for 2.5 years. Yet, this story went viral. Today, in that community, they have a brand new school built by Sustainable Development Goal, SDG.
You become their hero.
Thank you very much. Number 2, that same community have borehole. Number 3, the government of Kogi State now woke up because United Nations had come into this. They had no option but to leave me. They had to come and reticulate the water and then build a clinic for them, and then also bring about solar street light in that same community, and it's endless. So at the end of my community report is, if you see something, say something. It's working. To an extent, it's working for me. I can imagine if we are more than 50 doing the same thing. Do you understand? I can imagine KAFTAN having 774 community reporters, volunteer community reporters from the 774 local government. Each one of them is reporting what you see. In fact, don't look for Queen's English, just see them as a day. Talk up, there is no water, there is no this there. And then, see, that one is even bigger and better than protest, because you're already embarrassing the government.
Yes.
So the government will have no choice but to wake up and do it. And that's why I like SDG goal number 17 that talks about partnership.
Partnership,
In this community I just mentioned, the army was contributing, the state was contributing, individuals were contributing, like that in so many areas. And so, sir, to get this thing, to get government working is very easy. That is why trying to bring down the social media, in fact, you will create more problem for yourself. That is the truth. And until we wake up, say something, recruit people, tell everybody, open the portal, say, throw away something. And you see the kind of, at the moment they come, people will start sharing it.
Okay, we'll have a caller.
Good.
Perhaps he's sharing your views. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome, sir. Your name and where you're calling from?
My name is Akapo.
Okay, from where?
From Abuja.
Okay, go ahead, sir.
I was so happy when you mentioned about all these story buildings.
Okay.
You see, the way they were is very good. But, you know, piping and all the rest, it was altered by FCT Water Board. It wasn't like that before. And we've been complaining. Even if you go around Zone 5, you will see what box, the boxes that they constructed without even coming back to fix what they're supposed to fix there.
Okay.
Please, we've been telling them how many times that we've been reading. We have been writing about it over times, but they are not used to our call. I don't know what is really happening. That's just it. Thank you for mentioning all these things.
Thank you, Additional, for your call. Thank you for your contribution.
So, you see, go to Zone 5, where he mentioned just now. Go to Maitama. Their streets are smelling.
Yeah.
You see pipe bursting Yet
And
nobody cares.
And that's in Abuja.
I'm telling you, especially in
He
Abuja.
has mentioned highbrow,
I'm telling you,
areas.
residential area, you see the zone 2, zone 5, you see zone 8, area 8 and all of that, you see their pipes all. Silver line, you see it's stinking, nobody cares. So what is the work of the environmental board?
I've seen that they have started desilting the blockages on the major roads. But they have not gone far, but at least they have started something.
No, well, let's hope that as they stop, they don't stop. I mean, as they start, they don't stop. Because they will just start to show that we are working after a while. That's the end of it.
Now, as we wind down on this topic, because we have a second topic,
Okay.
what would you advise in 30 seconds?
Well, we should expect more from the regulatory authorities, those in charge of building construction, road constructions, and there should be really punitive measures where defaulters are found.
Okay. Gabriel?
Oh, well, see something, say something.
Say something.
All of us should be involved, no matter whose God it is. If you see something that is bad and you know that is injurious to the society, to yourself, and to the future, say it.
Well, viewers, we're going to take a breather. When we return, we will be moving into our next topic of conversation, and that is the assassination attempt on former President of America, Donald Trump, where he narrowly escaped being killed by a 20-year-old Bethel Park-based Pennsylvania, Thomas Matthews Crooks. And still with me in the studio will be Gabriel and Hilary. Please don't go anywhere till we come back. Please be with us.
In a world where information is vital to every individual, a platform where technology is a medium to pass information, you can always catch up on all information written in the newspapers, even without having one. Join us on The Press.
Reaching live from the Abuja studios.
On The Punch for this morning. The Blueprint newspaper, Nigerian Tribune this morning.
As we give you information and opinions about current events and topical issues on politics, business, sports, entertainment, weather forecasts, and lots more in the local city, across all states, and across all countries. Showing daily on Startimes, channel 124, 9 a.m. West African time, only on KAFTAN TV. Stay connected with us.
That he said it is a reason why I will not do it.
I pursue the federal government to pay us our damages.
YouTube, KAFTAN TV.
A very tricky one, and then the bottom line is this.
See something that said, take a look at what happened. They see.
You're welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is the POLITY. My name is still Maucauley, Hunohashi. It has not changed. And with me in the studios are Hilary, Damissah, and Gabriel.
Enemali.
Thank you.
Gentlemen, thanks for remaining with me in the studios. And our topic of discussion is the assassination attempt on the former President Donald Trump of the United States of America, where he narrowly escaped being killed. And gentlemen, Hilary, precisely, the world woke up to a tragic news on Saturday with the attempted assassination of former President Donald Trump by a 20-year-old American, Thomas Matthews Crooks, that's his name. And he was said to have come from Pennsylvania. Yes. And he was at the rally, not quite more than 40 feet away on a rooftop.
50 feet.
Where he took a shot at the president. When you got the news report, what were your thoughts?
Well, it was shocking because of our supposed sophistication of the American security apparatus. we have this myth that America is near impregnable. And after the events of 9/11, there has been some concerted improvement on the American political system, so much so that we have not seen anything of this magnitude in the recent past. So I was a little bit surprised, and then I felt that there was a demystification of the sophistication and perception we globally hold of America. That was on the one hand. Though. However, looking at the history of assassination in America, I also kind of reconciled with the reality of the times. It isn't the first time that sitting American president or a president-elect or former presidents have been attempted of assassination. Of course, beginning from the 4th president of America, Abraham Lincoln, in 1865, who was the first American president to fall by the bullets of the assassins. And then the last time we saw an attempt was in 1981, when Ronald Reagan was closely shot at, and he spent 12 days in intensive care before he returned to.
So you were shocked when you received the news report?
I was shocked on the one hand, but I reconciled with the history of American political tragedy.
Now, Gabriel, he talked about the mystification of the security architecture of America. Why, from your own perspective, was the shooter's position was not considered in the perimeter of the Secret Service?
In fact, is more than when I was reading their perimeter, is about 1,000 meters away from anything that is going to happen. But I was shocked that it's 50 meters away to where this former president was standing. Now the question is, well, I try to be a bit human. The security too are human beings.
Absolutely.
Right? Now, and Donald Trump with a mouth, I knew something will happen to him. I'm telling you, to be frank to you.
But that's how he is wired.
Yes, that is the man is configuration. Yeah. So you will want to create, more commodities for Marvel. So they could go and create unnecessary, not unnecessary, just to make sure that he's off the way. So I wasn't really shocked, because from there I said, this man want to talk like this. Some people are not happy with you. Some people are not happy. So when I had 50 meters, this is too close. And then, because they are human, I tried to, this is politics. And because no environment is perfect, such is always expected. But they have managed it for a long period of time, because after 1981, I don't think we have seen anything like that. They've tried. However, probably they will reject, moving forward, they will reject their plan of
that takes me to the next question to Hilary. The shooting, happened within seconds, and that's in spite of 4, anti-terrorist sniper teams.
Yes.
2 from the county sheriff, and then 2 were said to have come from the Secret Service. Yet that 20-year-old chap almost killed the former American president. Do you see any failure in terms of, the plan, security plan, so to speak?
Well, any system that is managed by human beings is susceptible to failures, because human nature is imperfectible. And so you could indict the security system. However, like he noted, they are still human beings. I wouldn't say it was a complete failure on their part, but perhaps maybe a little oversight here or there could give room for such instances. But again, you have to commend the state services for the swiftness in which they were able to shield the former president. You would but appreciate their response in the manner in which they took cover immediately around the president. The president went down, and they formed like an umbrella around him. I think in a way some measure of professionalism. I'm not a security expert, but at least give it to them, no matter
Yeah,
how
but
much.
in addition to what Hilary said, he talked about swiftness, you know, and the motive for the shooting remains sketchy. It's not yet, you know, known.
Yes.
But you know, the Secret Service came out with information concerning the suspected shooter, his age, his name, where in fact it was even discovered that he had explosives in his car, you know, and he took the gun from his father, and he even donated $50 to Democratic Political Action Committee.
Yes.
That is the Democratic Party. And he was
Democratic
a registered Democratic Party, and he was a registered Republican.
Okay. Now, you
so they
see,
came out with this
let me tell you, there are two scenarios here, which I don't want to. Even the security, not all of them, some of them could be culprit, because in the normal American search that I know, before such event will happen, they will really comb the place very well. Now, if it's a Democrat, like I said, somebody is angry with this guy, remove him. It shouldn't be. Now, who can we use? Small boy, 20 years. Only God knows how much they paid him. And then they gave him money, gave him gun. And of course, in this angle, can you stay there? They can discuss with security operatives around that area. And of course, these two can also be bought. Like I said, they are human. And anything is possible. And until they finish all this investigation, you won't know from which angle. We're always speculating. And until all of the investigation is done, there's nothing anybody can do for now. But Donald Trump himself has come out. The world has called him, including our own president, you know, to condole with him. And he has said that, look, he is happy, he's back, and he will be back. And I think there's a program today,
there's a
convention today, and he said he's going to be there. So it means that it's all about the state and the people. And if you remember, the moment he raised his hand, all of them started shouting.
It became iconic. Before we get to that, let me ask Hilary. Many people believe that Americans are living in a world of in an era of political violence, and the country is awash with millions of guns in wrong hands because of lack of it, or some lackadaisical attitude in gun control. And you have taken us memory line concerning assassinations and attempted assassinations in American history, and which started with Andrew Jackson in 1835, and then Abraham Lincoln, the one you mentioned, 1865, and JFK 1963, RFK, his brother, 1968, George Wallace in 1972, Gerald Ford in 1975, and that of Ronald Reagan before the current one. Ronald Reagan was 1981. And so people say the attempt on the life of Donald Trump has opened a different chapter of political violence in American history. Do you believe that?
Well, I think so. Okay. Leading to the last general elections, where Joe Biden emerged as the president of the United States, you would know that that election was one of the most fiercest in terms of rivalry, and the narratives leading to that elections were one that almost tore America into shreds. Partisan and different nationalities and interests, even across the social strata of the society, the migrants, the non-migrants, and all of those narratives. And like Gabriel pointed out, Trump has been one candidate whose ideology, whose philosophy, whose standpoint have been a little bit, should I say, leftist in terms of the American idea of a United States. Trump has been seemingly divisive in his political approach, and Thomas Crooks, the 20-year-old gentleman who committed this crime, is a known Republican or from a Republican family. Pennsylvania is dominated about 65% as a Republican state, and making a donation to a rivalry political party also is an affirmation of the freedom of expression of
That's
the
right.
average American.
That's right.
Where you could be in a Democratic Party and then the next sibling is in a Republican. You come from, your father can come from the state of Chicago, you are from the state of Texas, and you are independent of each other. So I think that perhaps this young man may have reasoned differently. Even if I am from a Republican state, I am a Republican Party affiliate, but the values and the philosophy of divisive politics of a disunited America may not have sat well with the gentleman. I am not endorsing any form of crime or any form of unlawful act, but you know, these things, like we say, is the media feeds you with so much of information that you either act on or you react, and you never know what may have prompted this young man to react against whatever political ideology.
On that, security agents are digging deep to find out, so that in the course of in a few days we'll get to know. But let me ask you, last year the Department of Homeland Security of America warned of possible high-profile political violence targeting government officials, and many Americans are saying, nothing was done about it to mitigate it. What do you think?
Yes, I mean, just like you warned that there's going to be flood, and you refuse to do something, it will come. Now they already know from during Barack Obama, you see people going to school with guns, shooting children anyhow, and all of that. Now, having put all of these scenes together, they realize, look, in the coming days, we are forecasting that this can happen. And the government didn't take it. Now that this has happened, watch out what the American government is going to do. Because, okay, we didn't think it was going to happen. All right, now it has happened. How are you going to protect it? For the next 20 years, you find out that such will not happen again. It's just like when 9/11 happened. Some said they were aware, and some said no, they just took it casually. And it happened and brought down so many souls. But today, I mean, they will not allow that again. So things like this, I think for me, for any warning that comes on, we should take proactive steps and begin to look from where. If I were an American agent, I would tell them, this my mouth will put them inside trouble, so please watch out. Anything can happen from every corner. Because the way he talks, he is this kind of a fighter that will want to defeat you even before you get into the ring. And that's how he behaves. So, and then his mouth too much. He will use your own hand, take and slap you. And I don't know.
Hilary, let me ask Hilary this question. Talking about mouth, alluding to the way Trump talks. Trump is a very combustible person, and many people believe that there is something troubling the American soul, particularly with the apocalyptic language deployed by politicians. Let me quote just two of them. In the wake of the assassination attempt, the first one is by Tim Scott, who tweeted that, let's be clear, this was an assassination attempt aided by the radical left and corporate media's incessant calling Trump a threat to democracy. And now the second one came from J.D. Vance, who tweeted that today is not just an isolated case. The central premise of the Biden campaign is that former President Donald Trump is an authoritarian fascist who must be stopped at all costs. They made this, tweet seconds after the assassination attempt. Do you think this kind of apocalyptic comments, to put it that way, is good for the American political structure going into the elections in November?
Well, I think heated political narratives are never good for any climb anywhere in the world. The tendency is that they will breed hatred, they will breed distrust, they will breed criminality. Now, the American state has been on the edge for a while, and it's been under some cosmetic coloration of some sort, and now people are probably looking for avenues to express that tense atmosphere. If you look at the events leading to the death of George Floyd, you will find that the protests after the death of George Floyd were so much that you wonder whether it was just the death of one man that, you know, orchestrated such a movement. People were looking for avenues to express their anger against the state. If you also take a look at the NSAS narrative of the Nigerian scenario, you would also ask, is it just the NSAS? People were already edgy. And I think that the American people have been edgy for a long time and just looking for a means of expressing themselves. But you have to hold politicians, whether Biden, whether Trump, whether Pelosi or anyone, you have to hold them because of the position they find themselves in society. Even if you come to Nigeria now, our religious leaders too, there is something that a religious leader will say, even if it is not right, because of that exalted position they occupy, they will sway some certain people to believe it is the fact or the real thing of the matter. So I think the political class, whether in America or anywhere in the world, should be cautious and deliberately so to refrain from statements, pronouncements, campaigns that can promote divisiveness, that can promote hatred, and that can project destructive tendencies. So I'm not putting the buck on Biden or at Trump as individuals, but the statements they make, their followership may not be able to distill it to the nitty-gritty of these individuals, and they could be interpreted very wrongly. So there's need for caution.
Gabriel, world leaders, including President Bola Ahmed Tinubu of Nigeria, the Chinese president, from Brazil, from the Pacific to the Asian tigers to Europe, joined President Biden of America in condemning this dastardly act by saying there is no violence in a democracy. But one man stood out differently, and that is President Putin of Russia, who heaped the blame on the doorsteps of Biden through his spokesperson. Were you expecting anything different from
Putin? Of course. Definitely. Maybe, I don't know, maybe this is who I am, because I don't like where it's a bandwagon thing. Somebody should break the whole thing. And so when he did that, I like it. Again, why are they crying, all of them? The moment that happened, I can tell you most of these presidents will be taken off. The moment they allow this to happen, it is their own selfish goal they are trying to protect. No, we shouldn't allow this to go. We must condemn it at all costs. And that is why I like Putin. Putin came out to say, look, you should stop all of this. This is politics. I remember. I
would love you to land. Right? I'd actually love that you landed. But what is bad?
It's bad, no doubt about it.
Whether it's in Russia or in America or in Africa, it's bad.
I think Gabriel loves the drama. The drama being played.
No, see, what I'm saying is this. What I'm saying is this. Every other president started condemning the act.
Yeah, because it's condemnable.
Okay. Why didn't they condemn other assassinations? Why was it the only Trump that they feel is condemnable? So what is good for the goose? It's also good for the gander now. We are talking about all these big men. Law should catch up with them. In Nigeria, we get two laws. The law for the big man is different from the man who's still a goat. That's what I'm saying. So if you think because Trump is going to be the next president, or is the former president, or is an aspirant, shooting him is bad, what about others that were being killed?
You still condemn them.
So did they condemn? No, the answer is no, they will not condemn. No, that's the approach I'm looking at. That is the approach I'm looking at. So if you believe this man is human and this man too is human, condemn the two. What is bad is bad. That's where my own stand is.
Okay, Hilary, this is the first assassination, high-profile assassination attempt on the life of, any president in the world. And it's happening in the age of internet and social media. And then President Trump seemed to have taken advantage of it when he was, taken up from the lectern where the secret agents lifted him up. He rose blood was, dripping from his pierced ear, right ear. And the next thing he did was to raise his hand, clenched fist. And the picture that has, trended has become some sort of iconic. Would you say that can change the dynamics of the politics of America during this campaign for 2024, culminating in November?
Yes, in a way, most probably so. I wouldn't say that the raising of his hand only may change the dynamics, but the shooting itself, the incidents that happened on Saturday, and the aftermath would have some reflection on the presidential election going forward. What this is capable of doing is that if the campaign managers of Trump decide to exploit that incident in a very positive way, it could further persuade the candidacy of Trump to a reasonable extent. However, if it is not well managed, it could also in a way give some kind of leverage to the Democratic candidate. It depends on how the post and the aftermath effect of this is managed that would enable us to know whether it will be either a pro or a con in Trump's political campaign.
Trump is a very good marketer and likes to take advantage of any situation. He takes it well. Watch out what will happen. The moment he raised his hand and shouted the country's name, everybody took after that. Yes. Now he's whipping sentiment. He has started whipping sentiment. Now, sir, let Trump go on Twitter or on X and other things. Let him start talking, and you see. Trump is a very good marketer. This, you don't even need any manager to come and manage Trump. He will use a manager well for himself in his own favor. Watch out what will happen.
Okay, you talked about Trump's Twitter. Let me even read to you. Let me quote what he has tweeted.
Okay.
Thank you to everyone for your thoughts and prayers yesterday.
Good.
As it was God alone who prevented the unthinkable from happening. We will fear not, but instead remain resilient in our faith and defiant in the face of wickedness. Our love goes to the other victims and their families. We pray for the recovery of those who were wounded and hold in our hearts the memory of the citizen who was also horribly killed. In the moment, it is more important than ever that we stand united and show our true character of Americans, remaining strong and determined and not allowing evil to win. I truly love our country and love all of you. Looking forward to speaking to our great nation this week from Wisconsin. Okay. He has said that he is going to attend the National Republican Convention at Wisconsin, which begins from today. Yeah. But the peak of the convention is going to be on Thursday. Okay. What do you think Trump is doing here? You said he's a good marketer.
Like I said, I've not even read this one. Like I said, look at the way he finished it.
Yes.
We must stand strong, united. He does start to. Watch out what he's going to say again. He is going to come out. The guy is a good marketer. He will sell himself. He will make sure that the country itself is united. Whether disunited but united, so that he wins the presidency. He will never go against anybody, not even against his rival party, but he's going to make sure that he sees this opportunity and sell his party, sell himself, and they will win.
Hilary, we've witnessed President Biden, the current president of America, who is the Democratic nominee, making some gaffes, and 2 points come to mind where he wanted to hand over the podium, the microphone to Zelensky, and he said Putin, and then he was making reference to his vice president. He said Vice President Trump. He's been reflexive in his responses in recent times. What would you say the Trump's strategy? In what way is it going to affect Joe Biden's chances, if it will?
Well, I think this is really nothing new in terms of narrative. We know that Biden, age is not on his side, and there have been allusions to the fact that he may be having some memory lapse or some sort of forgetfulness. But then I believe quite well that they may not in the end count when it comes to the American voting. Just after the debate between Biden and Trump, Trump was quite leading Biden with as much as 49% thereabout to Biden's 42% or so. But a few days after that debate, you could see some marginal improvement in the rating of Biden. So I think that until we get to the election, it will be too early for us to think that these may automatically be points that would not work in Biden's favor.
Okay.
Americans,
we're winding down.
Americans generally are very, very how do I call it, sophisticated in their electoral process, and let's just wish the
Gabriel,
best for that country.
I'm not going to predict. That is your camera. Look at the camera and tell us who do you think is going to win the election in November?
November.
With the dynamics.
No, maybe when I come back, it's about 5 months to 5 months to still to the election. Yes. Let me.
Who is your favorite candidate?
Of course, Trump.
Okay.
Trump.
What about you?
Trump is my favorite.
I don't have a favorite. I want the world would benefit immensely if America is a settled state.
Okay.
And just like it is in ECOWAS, if Nigeria is on fire, 15 West African countries cannot absorb the fire that will come from Nigeria.
That's very correct.
If America is on fire, Africa is on fire. Whether it's Biden or Trump, let us wish the United States of America the best of the 2024 general election, and let there be peace in America and peace in the rest of the world.
Okay, and on that note, I want to thank Gabriel Enemali most profoundly for finding time to come to the POLITY.
Thank you
it's
so
been
much.
worthwhile, discussing with you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
Hilary, Damissah, thank you for finding time to, respect honor our invitation to the POLITY. We hope that when we call you next time, you're going to come. We will not hesitate. And thank you most profoundly for finding time to come.
Thank you so much, Maucauley, for having us.
Thank you.
Thank you, viewers.
Thank you, viewers, and especially our vibrant callers who took time to call to make the program conversational. I remain yours truly, Maucauley Hunohashi. Thanks for being there, and bye for now.